at McKinsey, of course, it's very important that you build a professional network. But for me, it always felt a bit awkward because you always felt there was this ulterior motive, there was a purpose to it. And then once I was at INSEAD, a lot of the networking just, didn't have an ulterior motive. It's just very interesting to get to know these people and to talk to them. And that suddenly made me a much, much better networker than I used to be before.
Well, I think essentially all I did was I went to Dubai and I met everyone I knew, friends, family, INSEAD alumni, and met people they knew. So I think from what would come out of every single meeting, if not a lead, was another meeting. Everybody would at least give me one name of somebody who they think I should meet. So in a matter of a few months, I managed to meet, I think, 150 to 200 people.
I had a reasonable network at MTV, but nothing like what I've got today. So I've been fairly assiduous about getting out to meet a lot of people. You don't know where the opportunities are going to come from, and I think you've got to see and know a lot of people. So I think that's the second, is going out and part of the investment is investing in that. I do a lot of lunch.
I had this idea that, and I showed up to my first Chamber of Commerce event, I had my little business cards and I'm ready to hand them out, and everybody already knew each other. They don't exchange business cards because they already know each other. They've all been together for years. And I was in a suit, I was way overdressed, and nobody was interested in my business cards.
I would do things like, I would say, hi, I'm sitting in the coffee shop under your office for the next 4 hours, so whenever you have time, please step down for 10 minutes, right? And it becomes pretty tough for someone to say no to that. Generally, INSEAD alumni are very helpful, right? But at the same time, they obviously are extremely busy in their careers also. So I think the easier you make it for somebody to help you out, the more likely they are to do so, basically.
It was all cumulative with me. So I met some entrepreneurs at the beginning who I'd known for a few years. They got me involved. They then said, you must come and meet our investors. So then I started meeting the venture capitalists. Then I started, they said, oh, well, that's good. Could you come and meet one of my other companies? They'd like a bit of advice. Gave a bit of advice for free to 1 or 2 other companies. So I think, and then that got me to another meeting, and that got me to another one. So it was more of a cumulative effect of talking to people and being open to, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do that meeting, absolutely. Okay, yes, I'll go and talk to that person.
I was having a hard time making the connections I needed to make, and so I finally did what you got to do in Texas. I went to church, and then someone introduced me to somebody in church, and then things came together the way I needed them to. So I got religion.
So what I did when I started teaching at INSEAD, I created this, what I would say, advisory board of media managers across Europe, which I thought were really shaping the industry, and then had them come over as guest speakers to INSEAD, which was really nice. But by them coming over, we actually got to know each other quite well. And so my very first board, which was Media Capital in Portugal, which is was the leading media company there, and which was owned by a fantastic entrepreneur who's also an INSEAD alumnus, Miquel Paes do Amaral, and he was one of my guest speakers.
In fact, I met so many alumni, they would say that, if you do find a job in Dubai, next year you should run for president of the association, because I've actually met everyone in those 6 months.